Hi, welcome to the start of our new podcast. We don't have a name for it yet, but there will be one by the time it's uploaded, so that gives us a little bit of time to figure it out. I'm Bella.
I'm Taylor.
I'm Nell.
We're all cosplayers and we like judging people. So today we will be reading a bunch of r/MIDA posts and we will be judging them. We chose a bunch of them that are just cosplay related because we have more experience in that. So I say we just get started.
But I do like the whole Google Doc.
Google Doc of links.
I've saved a lot
That's
of
insane.
stories. Some of them are pretty short, so we'll see.
But
Starting off with AITA for being embarrassed of my girlfriend's cosplay. My 25 male girlfriend, 24, had a double mastectomy 5 years ago. She had breast cancer and thankfully made a full recovery. Unlike a lot of women, she didn't have any reconstructive surgery. This was before I met her. I'm a big anime nerd, and last weekend I invited her to a small anime con with me. She's seen a few episodes of my favorite shows, but she's not into anime. She does like cosplay though, as she works seasonally as an FX artist at a haunted house near us. So when I asked her to go to the con with me, she asked if she could cosplay, and I said sure. She got very excited and said I was gonna love her costume, so I'll admit I thought she's gonna do something sexy for me. Well, not exactly. The day of the convention comes and she showed up at my house cosplaying Dabi from My Hero Academia, specifically a look he has later in the manga. She's in a long white coat over white pants, no shirt. Her entire chest was exposed and she'd obviously spent hours applying burn makeup. She has short hair that she dyes constantly. This time she bleached it white and dyed a few red streaks into it. I wasn't expecting her to show up without a shirt. Her burn scar makeup only covered half of her chest, so you could clearly see her mastectomy scar. It wasn't a very attractive costume, especially since she'd gone all out with the scars and made them look raised and kind of realistic. We went to the con, and while a lot of people came up to take photos with her, I noticed several others looking at her chest. That evening, I said I had been quiet all day, and I honestly told her that I was a little embarrassed that she was flaunting her mastectomy scar like that. She got mad and said she had been making the best of her situation and said I was being insensitive, and she's been distant ever since. I'm starting to feel guilty. AITA.
Yes.
absolutely. Also, I know plenty.
From the second he said mastectomy scars, asshole.
I know plenty of men who would kind of curve for Dabi. So
I don't know, that sounds like a very attractive cosplay anyways. Like,
Right?
I don't know what he's complaining about.
yeah, what's the problem?
I think it was red flag for me when it said she asked my permission if she could cosplay at the event. And I was like, why does she need your permission?
Yeah, for real.
To do something. I don't know. This was voted asshole. So
Perfect. If I ever ask a man for permission for anything, feel free to just hit me with your car.
Oh, okay. You have that on
On
tape.
record.
Yep.
All right, next story. AITA for asking my aunt to change dates of the trips so that it doesn't impact my cosplay event. I, non-binary, 36, started working with a personal trainer and radically changed my diet in November 2022 to start to prepare for a huge cosplay gig in October 2023. My goal is to lose 50 plus pounds in order to portray the character for the event and attend a professional photo shoot. I've been religiously following all the fitness/diet plans from my personal trainer and will be on track to reach my goal by the time the event happens.
Yay.
At the beginning of April 2023, my aunt, whom I live with and take care of because of her disability, approached me about wanting to take a trip to Scotland in September 2023 with me. She was very specific that it had to be September due to some event she wants to see while we will be there. The date she will be choosing will bring me back to the States just 1 week before the cosplay event I have been preparing for. I do not want to sacrifice my diet and exercise routines that close to the event, and I invited her to choose a date after my event. She became upset with me and told me I was being selfish and that I was too obsessed with my new fitness/diet routine. Am I the jerk for wanting her to schedule this trip after my event?
I'd say no, because this event has been planned for way longer than this trip.
I mean, I don't know, because it's her aunt didn't have to freak out on her like that.
Yeah.
Because, as long as it was in September, who cared? Because all she wanted. But like also, I don't know what the cosplay event was. Like, was it a con? Cons happen every year, so it's kind of like I don't know.
That's part of it where I look at they do use non-binary,
Mhm.
so it's
sorry.
Oh, it's all right. They have been preparing for over a year for this convention.
Yeah, so
That's
it's
true.
been a
That's true.
long time running.
It's a long time running, but if you've been preparing for over a year, shouldn't you be all right to take a week off?
Yeah,
Well, and
but
it's
when
not
it comes
like-
to fitness, you lose that.
But it's
really
not like you
quickly.
couldn't like go for a run or like work out in Scotland.
Yeah.
Like,
But also, but if you're going to Scotland, we don't know anything about the event. What if it's like a drinking event in Scotland?
oh, that's true.
What
They
else
shouldn't
do they
have
do?
to- They don't have to drink.
I know. I feel like you don't have to participate
No.
if you don't want to.
Yeah.
But it's like a free trip to Scotland. But at
Right.
that point, I would just be like, I don't want to go because I have this other event. I wouldn't ask to change it because
Yeah.
it's already been planned because
Right.
the aunt wants to go to this
Mhm.
event.
But did their aunt know that the event, like the dates of the event?
They
I-
didn't
I don't know. This one's weird.
I know.
I'd say they're not the asshole for not wanting to go on the trip. Like at that time,
Yeah.
like nothing's wrong with that.
Right.
Someone did comment asking if they had to go on the trip to take care of the aunt, and the original poster said, since I'm her medical caretaker, I do have to go with her on trips. She doesn't have anyone else who is informed in her medical needs like I am. So they had to go to it if the aunt wants to go. But then my question would be, did the aunt know when the convention was
Right.
planned before?
I'd assume so because she planned specifically a week before.
Yeah, so they wouldn't have to. I don't know.
Oh, that's weird.
It is weird. It was voted
It's
asshole.
like- Was it?
Really?
Yeah.
It just like there isn't enough context. I feel like.
I
Yeah.
know, it was too short.
We also
Yes.
don't know what the event is in Scotland because why does it have to be 2023 for the Scotland trip?
It's
Like, is
missing
she
info.
dying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if she's dying, then yeah, kind of.
She's
But
like, this is
also,
the final hurrah. I want
We
to go
hear
to
it's a
Scotland.
professional photo shoot. Is it for a magazine? Is it a paid thing?
It low-key sounds like a convention
Or is it just like your
Where
average
you're
convention that you pay?
paying for a photographer.
Yeah.
But like, you know you pay a lot of money for those
Yeah.
photographers.
But it's also not too late to cancel that.
Right.
I feel like it's their life, so they don't have to go on the trip if they don't want to. I just feel like it could have been talked about in a better way. And I also do think that they're the asshole for posting this on here instead of
Yeah.
talking with their aunt, because this seems just like a miscommunication.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That instead of being like, hey, these are the reasons why this is really important to me, they decided, well, I'm gonna get the internet on my side, and then I'll show her.
Yeah.
And then the internet
The
showed
internet
them.
showed them.
Like, yeah. In this specific situation, I don't think they're an asshole for not exactly wanting to go on the trip, but posting about it on the internet instead of talking it through.
I would
That's
definitely
a
want to
bit
talk
weird.
it through, espally because
Mhm.
you live with them.
Yeah.
How hard is it to go into the kitchen and be like, hey, can I talk to you about this trip?
Right.
It's not hard.
No.
All right. This one is a fun one, and it's really long.
Oh.
Oh, no.
Love it.
I'm
Good
like
context.
afraid for my voice because I low-key can't read. Anyway, AITA for holding my friend's costume hostage. For background, I, 22 male, am a cosplayer who specializes in armor and prop design. My friend Kitty, 20 female, is also a cosplayer, but she specializes more on makeup and other aspects. The local convention in our area is coming up, and Kitty decided that she wanted to cosplay her favorite anime character for the costume contest. This character has a lot of cybernetic elements, and she has never made cosplay armor before, so I decided I wanted to try to help her out. I'll admit I was very excited to make this for her, not only to show off my skill, but also just get close with my friend. I will also note that my love language is gift giving, so I'm constantly buying and making things for Kitty. I started dedicating all of my time to making this cosplay for her, pretty much getting all the base done within the past month. I would text Kitty with progress pictures constantly, and she always seemed excited to see it. However, as I finally started to finish the build, she became less and less excited. Finally, she texted me, asking if I would just send her the pieces so she could do the rest herself. I was a bit confused and asked her why, and she told me that she was upset that I wasn't letting her contribute to her own costume. I told her it was better for me to do it because I was experienced, and she responded that she didn't care. This was her costume and she wanted to be the one to build and design it, and she was starting to lose interest because I was taking all the fun out of it. I tried to explain that I just wanted to do something for her, and I already had the stuff to finish it, and she got really upset. Kitty sent me a long text explaining how she never asked me to do this for her, and when I offered help, she thought it meant I would teach her. She then called me selfish and said that I wasn't thinking about how she felt. I got offended by this because I was doing all this for her and she didn't seem to think that. I told Kitty if that she was insistent on making it herself, she was welcome to, so I would just throw everything away. She called me a selfish asshole and stopped talking to me. Kitty still doesn't talk to me, but my mutual friends have also reached out to call me an asshole. Another friend that is crossbound with us said I shouldn't have been petty and just gave her the part of the costume I made instead of holding them hostage. I'm confused because I don't think I'm holding the costume hostage if she didn't want it in the first place. We still have a month left, so if she wants to rebuild it, she can. However, my friends insist I give what I made Kitty since I had offered to make it for her in the first place, and there's no point in being petty. So, am I the jerk?
No. She's crazy though.
She's crazy?
She's crazy.
Why is she crazy?
Well, I think the whole thing was a big miscommunication in the first place, but like,
they
I don't
just
know.
talked. I mean,
obviously we only have like the one side, but he makes her sound crazy.
I know, but if she's wanting to compete in the local costume contest.
Wait, is that what it said?
Yes.
Oh, I missed
She
that.
has to make it herself.
That's true.
He can't make it for her and have her compete.
yeah.
I totally missed that part.
That's how masquerade. You've done
Like,
masquerade
you have to
before.
make
No, I missed the part in the story where it said
Oh.
she was competing with the costume.
Yeah. She wanted to compete, or the convention in our local area is coming up, and Kitty decided she wants to cosplay for it and my character for the costume contest.
Oh, bet. Okay. I don't
Yeah,
know what
in that
happened, but
case,
I missed
like,
that.
he should know for competitions and stuff. You have to make what you can buy 10% of it or something
Right,
like that.
yeah.
You have to make.
But she
you know what I
also
mean?
shouldn't have pretended to be excited about it, and she should have just like
Yeah.
told him from the beginning.
Yeah, she should have been honest from the start about it.
Yeah, because he said he kept sending her pictures, like progress pictures, and she was like, "Oh yeah, it's totally awesome." Or
Like
whatever.
posting it on the internet, like.
I feel like that's just a general theme for any of them is if you post on the internet, you're the asshole. Because, like, why would you go straight to that instead of trying to talk with
Yeah,
them?
because like it seems like they tried talking, it didn't go the way he wanted, so he kind of ghosted her
Yeah.
and
that's
posted about it on Reddit. So her friends had to come in and talk to him about it.
Also sounds like the OP might have a crush on them
Oh,
because
100%.
my love language is gift giving, so I'm constantly buying and making things for Kitty. It's like,
Okay.
Like when you first read it, I thought it was like a money thing, like.
oh yeah, like Kitty isn't paying for the materials now,
Right.
so
But that wasn't even it.
But no,
It was
No.
like she wants to do it herself,
Man's a simp.
so I'm holding the.
holding a hostage because she wants to do it herself. What?
Because like imagine if this was resolved if she just was like, hey, can I finish it up so I can at least say that I did it at the cosplay contest?
Yeah.
Because I'm required to make it. I feel like it would be resolved if he just said, yeah, sure, here's the rest of it, and here's how you're gonna finish it.
Or even, like she said in the first place, I thought you were going to show me how
Yeah.
so we could do it
Right.
together.
well, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Maybe
it
just
was a big
Kitty.
miscommunication
Yeah.
at the beginning.
I feel like all cosplayers have a lot of miscommunication.
Yeah, nobody knows how to talk to people.
I wonder what else gonna happen to us.
Uh-oh. Also, it said, like, she had a month to finish it. If she's never built armor before, he's like,
I'm not
she has a
here.
whole month
Month
to
to
build
fin-
this costume.
no, it's
And
not
it's
that
cybernetic parts, like we're talking getting the supplies in, because she
Yeah.
probably doesn't have it. And that's gonna be probably Warbler, foam, all that fun stuff,
Yeah.
a heat gun.
Paint, all
Paints,
adhesive
And then doing that, and it takes like 24 hours, 48 hours for stuff to dry
Right.
in between the layers. It takes an eternity. Then you have to piece it together.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like sewing where you can just like sit there and crank it out the entire day.
Yeah.
Like, you have
It's
to
like-
take time for things to cure and dry and.
Especially if you also have resin parts or stuff
Right.
like that. Like, it just takes a long time. Especially if she's also making the rest of the costume.
Yeah.
So.
So Loki, I'd say he is the asshole for just jumping the gun and not
Yeah.
communicating.
Yeah.
So it's
That's
like
fair.
And
everyone
for getting
sucks.
upset over it, like she very clearly explained that she wanted to do some of it herself.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, because I want to give it to you as a gift. So I'm gonna hold it hostage until you let me give you the finished product.
I just don't get. I guess I don't get the holding it hostage part
Yeah.
because, like, if she wanted to make it herself and he'd already like almost finished it,
Yeah.
it would. She still wouldn't have really made it herself
She still would
because
feel
it's
like,
almost
yeah.
done. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
At that point, it would
I don't
just
really
be-
get how
But
it's
she would have
holding-
made a
it's holding
bigger
it
percent of
hostage.
it, because if he just made the parts and she'd piece it together, because I don't know how far along he got. It was almost done.
Yeah.
but what does almost done mean?
That's
I don't know, but at that point, he's the one competing it in the
Yeah.
contest
Right,
with
yeah.
her wearing
Yeah.
it, which
Yep.
just isn't the same.
Or
So
they're
she would have had to like
competing it.
completely start it over. So it's not really. I
Yeah.
feel like it's not really holding it hostage, but.
But if it has the pieces, that would speed up the pattern making process for the
Yeah.
armor pieces.
It's true.
And she could see what materials he's using for it a little bit better.
They both suck, but this one was voted asshole. So, continuing on.
Anyway.
This one, they just did one big chunk of text. And
Love
you
that.
saw how hard a time I had reading the last one. Oh, Lord.
Grammar who?
Am I the jerk for selling a cosplay that was too big to a buyer? So firstly, I'm a casual cosplayer. I do it for fun. Go to events in a costume, etc. But sometimes when you don't like an item anymore, or say you've moved on from it, you try to sell it and etc. Well, that's what happened. Oh my god, this whole thing's a big run-on sentence.
Are you serious?
Yeah, there's just commas.
Oh no!
Awesome. Love that.
Good luck. Do you need a pointer to?
I'll figure it out. I listed in the group chat that I was in that I have a suit for sale, and later I got a message from an interested person and we talked a bit. We discussed the price, etc., and then he said he would buy it. So he paid, and I suddenly thought to check his height and build. As I'm 6'6" and a bit heavier than most, he claimed that he was 5'9" but slim. So I said, I'm going to be open here and say that it's going to be baggy on you. He claimed that was okay because he had a friend who's a tailor at his university, so it wouldn't be an issue. So I packed everything up and sent it the next day. A couple of days later, I hadn't heard anything or been in the group chat. I opened it and found he'd not only recently received the item, but was posting pics of it to the chat, clearly too big for him. One of the other people in the chat, who has a disliking for me for some reason, had made a big thing about this is why you don't buy from the big guy, and next time we need exact measurements. So I got angry and called him out saying, hey, it seems like this is a direct attack on me personally. I know you have an issue on me, so... And then I left the chat and removed myself from the group. I messaged the buyer directly, like, hey, why didn't you tell me first? But got a weird response back. Your words seem dishonest. I was so confused, but nothing else happened. The next day, I got an email saying I've had a PayPal claim, and the reason in the claim stated clearly took advantage of me because I wasn't all there, or something to that effect. I tried to talk to the guy again directly, but got a brick wall. Later that day, I got a message from one of the group chat admins saying I scammed someone, which is against the rules, so I'm now banned. Now, I was leaving the group anyway for some other reasons, but I don't like the idea of being called a scammer and a liar. So I explained what happened and showed screenshots of the messages explaining my side and how this wasn't a scam, but admittedly I could have been clear about my height before selling. And it's not my fault the buyer, who openly admitted he wasn't all there, decided to buy it and not check on the exact details. The admin agreed and said that I'm not banned, but I need to sort this out with the buyer. I don't think it's fair because he has my item, and if I refund him when PayPal clears the money, how do I know he's going to send my item back and not just keep it? So, am I the jerk here?
No.
How could you have been more clear? But you told him what your height was. How could you have been more clear?
It's going to be baggy. He legit said it's going to be baggy on you. And this is I have a tailor friend. And then the item arrives and, oh no, it's size for someone over 6 feet.
Oh, that was exactly what you said it was going to
no.
be. That's crazy.
The horror. Now I have to.
All right.
I think he was just trying to get a free costume.
Yeah.
100%.
Whenever you buy anything secondhand, because I bought costumes secondhand before,
Right.
I always take the time to ask for measurements if they're not already posted.
You're right.
Yeah.
And if it's not something I want to deal with, I don't
Like,
buy it.
as
Yeah,
for measurements, if it's homemade, if it's bought from another website, you can get the exact sizing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I sell costumes secondhand, and I don't know why people wouldn't put the measurements.
like you
They're
can put
so
your
easy to
own
get.
measurements. Be like, this one fits me like this, and I
Yeah.
have these measurements.
Right.
Because I've done that before where I'll buy something that someone's made because
Mhm.
they're like, hey, I made this like 3 years ago, I don't wear it anymore. And they're like, cool, like, what's your height and like general sizing? So I'll know if it'll actually fit or
Right.
not because sometimes they don't have real sizing.
Also, it's not that hard to take a costume in.
It's really not. And he literally said he had a tailor and he was fine with it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now he has an issue with it. So, yeah. Not the asshole was voted not the asshole also.
Perfect.
Let's see. Next story. Am I the jerk for not wanting to do a group cosplay with my friends at a con? This is the one that
Before you go.
Do you want to read it?
No, but just the title alone should tell you the answer.
Yeah, it's your life. You don't have to do anything. So, a little pretext before. I've personally never really liked dressing up or cosplaying in a costume for things like Halloween, costume parties, or for events in general that heavily recommend a requirement. It's an art that I can appreciate for those who enjoy it because I know there's some pretty badass cosplayers that make amazing costumes, but personally for me, it's just not my cup of tea. So, me and 7 of my friends are all planning to go to a con coming up here soon. While initially planning the event a while back, one of my friends brought up the idea that us as a group should do a cosplay from our favorite anime. All my friends said yes, but I told them that I wouldn't be dressing up. I told them I don't mind being a bystander while they dressed up, but I just don't want to do it. They were begging me for a while to change my mind, but I kept saying no, and they eventually dropped it for the night. Flash forward to now, they have all been sending updates on their costumes and talking about what else they should cosplay for the other days. They asked me if I had gotten my costume, but I reminded them that I didn't want to dress up, and in between the initial planning and now, I've been very tight on money, and I don't have the spare cash to buy a costume. They're all mad at me now, saying that I ruined their group plans since some of my friends are from out of town. They're also saying, when's the next time we're all going to be together like this? Why can't you just do it? So now to salvage their plan, they want me to buy a cosplay. IDK yet if they're just expecting me to pay... Oh, they want to buy them a cosplay. IDK yet if they're expecting me to pay them back or not, but I told them not to because I don't want to wear it and I won't pay them back if they're expecting to be paid back. And I don't want to feel like I owe them something if they say that I don't have to pay them back. Now they're all upset with me about this. So tell me, am I the jerk?
No.
Bro, okay, if your entire but okay, I mean no, obviously. But like, if your entire group cosplayed the same, who would take your pictures?
True. Right. You can hold your bags.
True.
Also, what group is what? It's 8 people total, right? 7
Yeah.
plus her.
Yeah.
What group is 8 people? Because most are like big groups are 7 or 9.
We're thinking of like a fairy tale group or something, you know?
Like, because if it's fairy tale though, it's not the end of the world if one character's missing.
It's really not.
Also, these cannot be adults. There ain't no way. Cause
Yeah.
like,
There's no ages in here.
I know, but, like,
They
just
seem like they're
from the story, that like the bruh, none of the people in that group are over
they're in high
21.
school. They're in high school.
Because that is
probably,
the
maybe.
high school cosplayer mindset.
Yeah.
And we've all been through it.
There-
Where it's like,
it's
we
the-
have to have a group, we have to be coordinated, and now we
The
barely
full group, and now it's like
match.
we have like 1 or 2 costumes coordinated, and then it's just like ragtag team. Of,
Yep.
Literally, like, if
Because-
you'll watch any of our TikToks or dance videos that I film at cons, we're not coordinated
Not at all.
ever, but we still have a good time.
It's more fun actually because you're not stressed.
That's true, and then you have people to take photos
Yeah,
for you
right.
if you need to.
Yeah, or like because someone will run up to the group and want to take pictures with 2 people because they're in the same costume, and then bags go to the other 2.
Yeah, true. I don't know. It's just, you're not the jerk for not wanting to do something and stating clearly you don't want to do
Right.
something.
I think it'd be a little bit different, but not really if you cancel like right before the con.
Yeah.
But like
true.
even then, I've canceled groups before
I
a
know.
convention. I've done it before.
We all have.
I mean, shoot, I might in
We
2
all have.
weeks.
Which ones are you canceling for
Are you canceling us?
Colossalcon?
I'm canceling you. No. I'm gonna try to finish that stupid Daisy dress.
Okay.
I haven't bought things for it, but it's fine.
If you need a hand with it, like it's
You
not
need to make it out of fleece. I got fleece.
for a summer.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna finish everything, but I'm basically in no group, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, I think I have Total Drama and the Fairy
That's it. Like, those are your only
and
groups.
Princess.
Yeah.
Well, I guess.
But if we're not,
I had the fairies. I've got Total Drama.
Mhm.
I've got the princesses. Then I have our like little surprise group that
Oh,
we're
yeah.
100% doing.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I'm
that
gonna
doesn't
try to
matter.
talk to a photographer about that actually.
You're gonna talk to a photographer.
I mean, I'm not gonna
for-
post like publicly, but I just,
Oh,
I just
so you can have it for your Patreon.
no, so I can have it like because it's gonna be hilarious.
you're just gonna DM a trusted photographer and be like,
Yeah.
hey, bestie.
Will you take pictures for me and my friend?
It'll
I
be the
mean-
best cosplay you've ever seen. I guarantee it.
We're gonna do that on Friday night, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure, whatever night you want.
Let me look at my schedule.
Because like, I feel like we got a couple surprise ones, don't we? No?
Yeah, I think Friday night would work
Friday.
the best for that. Because Saturday we're doing the princess group,
Mhm.
and the makeup for that's probably gonna be kind of wild. Versus the more natural fairy group.
Yeah.
I'm gonna rant about the Total
Friday.
Drama Island group chat after this.
Stay tuned. You won't hear it, but I'll stay tuned. We have 2 more stories for tonight.
Tonight.
I'm only gonna read 1 more. So you can choose which one you want to hear. You want to hear, am I the jerk for not bringing my cousin to a convention? Or am I the jerk for telling my cousin she wasn't being cyberbullied after calling out a racist cosplayer?
That one.
That one, let's do that one.
Okay.
That one sounds like tea.
Am I the jerk for telling my cousin that she wasn't being cyberbullied after calling out racist cosplay. I have a younger cousin. She's 20. For reference, we are both Chinese Americans who grew up in the United States. Her parents had bad English. They relied on her to translate a lot as a kid. This gave her a huge ego growing up since she had so much control over her parents. And, in my opinion, turned her super arrogant. She had no friends growing up because she was so unlikable and controlling. We tolerated her at family gatherings, but she was a brat and she would cry and scream if we wouldn't play what she wanted to play. Since she was the youngest, our parents forced us to go along with her. I had hoped going to college would fix her since she'd be away from her parents, but she only got into community college and lived at home. I really hoped transferring to an actual college will give her a chance to grow up, but then COVID, so she's still doing year 3 at home. Anyways, my aunt recently called saying that she was upset and claimed to be cyberbullied. Our parents aren't super good with technology, so they all know the horror stories about cyberbullying victims. So they asked me, since I'm the closest in age to her, to talk to her and figure out what's happening. Turns out she made a post about how white people who cosplay Asian characters are racist and perpetuating yellowface and they need to stop. She topped it all off by pulling pictures of random white cosplayers, posting pictures of random white cosplayers and calling them out. This post got traction and a bunch of people started pointing out how this was incorrect and in general disagreeing with her. She immediately accused everyone who agreed with her as racist and said she was Chinese, so she had the final say. Then Chinese people from Asia disagreed with her, and she started talking about how then they don't count because they aren't Chinese Americans and don't have to experience life as a minority. And then other Chinese Americans disagreed with her, and she started talking about how this was her personal feelings, so there. I was like, okay, so where's the bullying? And there wasn't. It was literally just people commenting, telling her that she's wrong, or messaging her and telling her that she's wrong. Some with varying levels of civility. But apparently she was so distressed about people disagreeing with her that she locked her account to protect her followers and made this dramatic post about how she's taking a break to protect her mental health. I flat out told her that she wasn't being cyberbullied. Her mental health problems come from experiencing shame and embarrassment for the first time in her life, and that she should just stop doubling down, remove her posts, and apologize for being wrong, and this will all blow over in about 2 weeks. And of course she screamed at me, hung up, and my aunt was like, what the fuck? I tried explaining to her, but she didn't get it. She's told me I should have gone along with it because we did that when we were kids. And of course, my parents are mad now because I was supposed to make her feel better, not feel worse. Edit, they were not using yellow makeup or eye tape. Literally just of a white person dressed up as an Asian character. It was yellow face is what she meant.
That's a lot.
It is a lot.
There's a lot going on in that story, and that girl is not being cyberbullied.
Well, I mean, okay, so she probably, I can't believe that, like, all of the comments weren't cyber, because, like, the way people disagree on the internet is pretty much
people are being, but here's the thing, she is just taking random white cosplayers, posting and being like, this person's racist for cosplaying an anime character. When I personally feel like if you think that first and foremost, DM the cosplayer, the person be like, hey, that's making me uncomfortable, like, you might want to stop doing that. Like, always try to take it up in private before just pulling them on blast on social media.
Right. Well, disagreeing with somebody, I mean, obviously, because, like, if they're, like, not taping back their eyes and, like, all that crazy stuff, like, obviously, she's wrong, but there's a difference between telling somebody they're wrong nicely and telling somebody, you're wrong, like, and just, like,
go kill yourself, you are fucking wrong.
That's true.
Yeah, there's a way to handle it.
It's the internet, so of course some of them are gonna be the more extreme, but I'm guessing a lot of them were DMs.
Yeah.
Being like, hey bestie, that's not it.
Right.
I
This is
can
not
especially see it being DMs from the cosplayers that she called out.
Yes.
Yes. Probably like, oh, that's not my intention ever, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, you're bullying me now.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I feel like she is kind of over dramatic, especially when majority of the people who see her content seems to disagree with her.
Yeah.
I don't think OP is really the asshole for giving them.
I don't think so either, and she really perpetuates the like, well, I'm Chinese, so what I say goes, and the actual Chinese people are saying, she's like, well, that doesn't count because you've never experienced racism because everyone's Chinese in China. You're not Chinese American, and that's like a whole convo that's been happening for a while, which is dumb. As long as you're being respectful, it's not an issue.
Yeah, like...
And she was just being mean to everyone.
As long as you're not changing your facial features to mimic a different race, it's not a big deal.
Literally, because if what she's saying is right, you're both racist. Like, that's basically what she's saying. And I know I've done characters before who do that, like Star from Con Crunch. but that's like a real thing people do,
Yeah.
and she wasn't talking about that. It was just in general.
Right. The only thing I didn't like that the OP said was that, like, how, like, it was, like, the first time she'd experienced shit. Like, unless they're, like, super
Yeah.
close, like, he doesn't
Yeah.
know, like,
No,
what
like, that was a personal attack.
Yeah.
That's kind of... But
Or I don't know what
I'd argue the
I
whole
think-
first half of the post was a personal attack because
Yeah.
they were like, no one's ever liked her.
Right.
She's bratty. She's
Yeah.
mean. I hate
And
her.
like, she's never experienced shame or any of this.
like,
and I'm like,
in the post...
how well, like, they're not
in
there
the post
all
is,
the time
okay.
in her life. So
Yeah.
they don't, how do they know?
In the post, OP's kind of being an asshole.
Yeah.
Yes.
But the actual story
The
is
situation.
not them being an asshole.
Exactly.
Right,
So
yes.
like situationally, not the
Perfect.
asshole.
That's a
You could have been
good way to
nicer
say it.
about it, so you are the asshole. But
On the post.
yeah, thought that would be a fun one to end with.
the controversy.
The like last two I chose, it's like either one of these will be great to end with because
Not okay, wait, but no, I kind of want to know the other one.
oh, you'll have to find out next time.
Okay, you're gonna find what? 6 more cosplay ones?
I'm gonna find a bunch more. I'm hoping that we'll be able to have regular uploads on Tuesdays at 5 p.m. Hi, Editing Bella here. I'm a big fat liar and I have too many schedules in my brain. That was for my second channel. I'm hoping that this podcast will be able to be uploaded on Wednesdays at 5 p.m. Wednesday, not Tuesday. Thanks. Don't know how regular.
We could
it's
always
gonna
do this
be.
over like Discord or something.
Yeah, so even if we're not here, I
Yeah.
think it'll be a lot of fun, and I want you guys to keep looking out for it. If you have any better name ideas than what we chose, comment them below. I'm open to suggestions, and you'll be able to find this podcast.
Chosen name.
Not yet.
Oh.
You'll be able to find this podcast anywhere you listen to podcasts, so Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, etc. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're here on YouTube or listening if you're anywhere else, we hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye.
We also hope the audio didn't suck. See you later.
See ya.
Microphones later.
We'll re-record, we'll voice over afterwards.
I will not do that.